Jai Sri Ram. By the grace of Lord Sri Jagannath, Lord Sri Ram, Lord Sri Krishna, we will continue the story of Ramayana Part 3 War. Chapter 6 Garuda to the Rescue. So, if you have not watched the previous chapter of Ramayana, you may go to the playlist or click on the I button on the top so that you can connect the story of Ramayana from the beginning to this chapter. So, the chapter 6 is started like this. Indrajit entered Lanka surrounded by the chief Rakshasas, all of them billowing in joy. The Rakshasa prince went quickly to his father's palace and told him the news. Your two mortal enemies lie killed on the battlefield. Struck down my sharp arrows. Dispel your fear, O King Ravana. Victory is now yours. Ravana sprang to his feet and embraced his son. He was elated and immediately called for the Rakshasi guiding Sita. He instructed them to take the princess in the Puspaka chariot and show her Ram and Lakshman. He felt sure that Sita would now accept him as her husband. The Rakshasi left at once and brought Sita. They placed her on the chariot along with Trijata, who was friendly with the princess. Ordered by Ravana, the chariot rose high above Lanka and went over the battlefield. Sita then saw Ram and Lakshmana laying in a pool of blood and covered all over with arrows. She was stricken with agony. Suspecting their death, she held on to Trijata and cried vehemently. How has this happened? Learned astrologers foretold that I would never be widowed. They predicted that I would be the wife of a pious ruler of the world and would have a powerful sons by him. Today they have all been proven false. Sita was completely bewildered. Her body shook as she grieved. Comforted by Trijata, she thought of Kausalya and Sumitra. How would those godly ladies live after hearing that their sons had been killed? Indeed, the whole of Ayodhya would be sunk into despair. Surely, destiny was unfathomable and all powerful. If Ram and Lakshman could be struck down in battle, then even death itself could be killed. Trijata carefully surveyed the scene below. She spoke gently to Sita. From the appearance of the monkey, I deduce that your husband is still alive. An army whose leader is slain is cast about like a rudderless boat on a high sea. These monkeys are standing firm in their battle array. Clearly, that expect Ram to recover. I also see that Ram and Lakshmana are still possessed of bodily luster. They are surely still living. Do not lament, O princess. Sita embraced Trijata, saying, May your words prove true. She felt a little reassured and prayed that the prince would soon be restored to strength. The chariot returned to Lanka carrying the mournful princess back to the Ashoka group. The monkeys surrounding Ram softly called out his name, trying to awaken him slowly. Ram opened his eyes and looked around. He saw Lakshmana laying conscious by his side. His face streaked with blood. Ram spoke in a voice choked with sob. What purpose of mine will be served by recovering Sita when my gallant brother lies slain in battle. I might find another wife like Sita, but I could never find a companion like Lakshmana or anywhere in this world. This prince followed me to the forest, sharing with me every happiness and distress. I shall now follow him to Yamraj abroad. Ram commanded himself. It was his fault that Lakshmana had been killed. What was the use of his vain boasting that Ravana would be slain and Vibhishana installed as the ruler of Lanka? Now everything was finished. Ram told Sugriva to return to Kiskinda. He thanked him and all the other monkeys and bears for their service. Now they could go home. The monkey stood with tears falling from their eyes. Sugriva burned with fury. He looked towards Lanka. The Rakshasa would pay for this outrage. He would personally annihilate every last one of them, including Ravana and Indrajit. Then he would recover Sita and bring her back to Ram. Clenching his fist, he said to Angada, "Take Ram and Lakshmana back to Kiskinda. Expert physician may heal them with celestial herbs. For my part, I shall remain here until the business is finished. No Rakshasa would survive today." As Sugriva spoke, there suddenly arose up a fierce wind. Dark cloud appeared with flashes of lightning. The ground shook and trees toppled over. A sound like the steady beat of some gigantic drums was heard. The monkeys gazed around and saw in the sky Garuda, Vishnu great eagle carrier. The powerful bird glided down, landing near Rama. As he descended, the serpent bound of the brother immediately fell away. The ethereal real snakes that had warped themselves around the princess quickly disappeared into the sky. Garuda, who appeared in a half human form with two arms, bowed before Rama with folded palms. He knelt by the brother and gently wiped their faces. At once their wounded were healed and their bodies becomes brilliant. Lakshmana opened his eyes and shut off. All of the monkeys cheered loudly and leaped about with screeches of joy. Garuda raised the two brothers. Rama embraced him with affection, saying, "It is fortunate indeed that you have appeared here, O gallant bird. We have been saved from a great calamity at the hands of Indrajit. Pray tell us, who are you?" Glowing with celestial brilliance and adorned with heavenly jewels and garlands, Garuda told Ram his name. "Surely you know me, O Ram, as I am always your servant. Consider me your own breath moving outside of your body. I heard that Indrajit had employed the Naga sons of Kadru. He converted those powerful serpents into arrows by means of sorcery. I came here quickly with a desire to dispatch my venomous prey, but they fled away simply upon seeing me. Grant me leave to pursue them." Ram again embraced Garuda and gave him permission to leave. The bird assured Ram that the Rakshasa would soon be overcome. Indrajit would not again be able to employ the serpent often. Then, after going respectfully around the two princes, he rose into the skies shining like the sun and filling the whole region with the wind raised by his wings. Ram and Lakshman. Ram and Lakshman stood ready for battle. The monkey and bears rode in joy, uprooting huge trees and brandishing them. They swarmed towards the great gate of Lanka, shouting for the Rakshasa to come out and fight, beating clay drums and blowing their conches. The army raised a massive tumult, which terrified the Rakshasas, who gazed from the city. Who gazed the city walls in amazement. Ravana sat in his palace. He had spent the night celebrating, having sent messenger all around Lanka to declare that Ram and Lakshmana were dead as dawn approached. He was thinking of Sita now. She would surely be his. He strengthened his disheveled clothes and prepared to go to the princess. Suddenly, from outside the city, he heard the crashing of a drum and the shout of Ram's army. What is this? He exclaimed in surprise. He got up with a start and shouted for his minister. How could the monkeys rally with their leader slain? Something was wrong. The demon ordered his minister to find out what was happening. Spies left at once and went to the top of the city walls. From there, they saw Ram, Lakshman, and Sugriva at the head of the army besieging the city. The spies reported to Ravana. The two human brothers are standing like a pair of lordly elephants and that have broken their fetter. fetter. All around them stand the monkeys and bears roaring for a battle. Ravana turned pale. This was a disaster. Surely the Rakshasas were in danger now. Ram had escaped from a weapon which had been overpowered Indra. It seems that some invincible power protected this human. The Rakshasa king turned to his commander in chief Drumrakha and ordered him to march at once to fight with Ram. Take with you the mightiest of the army, Rakshasa, Ravana commanded. Use any means whatsoever. Ram must be defeated. Drumraksha left Ravana's palace roaring exultantly and longing for battle. He was surrounded by demons with fierce features who clutched spikes, mice, razor sharp spears, and heavy iron cudgels. Clad in golden mails and mounted upon chariots drawn by friends, they rushed out of the city gates. They were followed by waves of the other Rakshasas, some riding massive black steeds and other on elephants as large as a hill. Laughing loudly, they went out the western gate where Hanuman was stationed. As the Rakshasa advanced, they saw numerous terrible women. Furious, furious birds of praise circled, screaming over the demons. They descended upon Drumaksha's standard and fought together, sending a shower of fire either onto the demon. A headless trunk wet with blood rose from the ground and ran across the path of the charging Rakshasa. The earth shook and blood fell from the heavens. Darkness enveloped the four quarters and the wind blew strongly into the demons' faces. Not deterred, Dhruraksa raced on at the head of his troops. He shouted out challenge in a voice resembling the braying of a donkey. The monkeys rode back and charged. The two armies appeared like two oceans surging towards one another and then meeting with a tumultuous crash. Demon and monkeys fell by demons and monkeys fell by the hundreds of thousands, pierced and smashed by weapons and trees. Some monkeys were transfixed by lances and spears. Others were cut to pieces by waves of arrows. Some were hacked down with swords, and still others were trampled by elephants. It responds, the monkeys crushed the Rakshasa with great boulders. They reduced some of the demons to pulp by bringing tree trunks down onto them. They leapt upon the chariot and tore the Rakshasa with their nails and teeth. Monkeys lifted demons and dashed them to the ground. Enraged, the Rakshasa fought back, throwing punches and kicks that felt like the striking of a thunderbolt. Dhrumaraksa was possessed by a madness for battle. He worked havoc among the Vanorous troops. He could hardly be seen as he rushed about, whirling his various weapons. Arrows loosed from his bows seemed to fly in all directions at once. Monkeys fell on all sides, vomiting blood. Heads, arms, and legs flew about. The monkey's army was despaired and put to fight by the enraged Dhrumaraksa, who thundered like an autumn clouds. Seeing Seeing his troops routed by the Rakshasa, Hanuman becomes furious. His eyes turned red and he took hold of an numerous boulders. With a roar, he hurled the rock of Drumak's chariot, but Drumak's nimbly leapt clear. The chariot, along with its horses drivers, was reduced to mangled heap. Hanuman then took off a sal tree and wheeled it around, attacking Drumuk's guards. Within moments, he pounded hundreds of demons to death. The monkey then grasped a mountain peak and raced towards Dhrum Raksa, who stood with the mace uplifted. As Hanuman approached him, the Rakshasa brought down in mace, which was bedecked with numerous shining points. Upon Hanuman's head, it sounded like a explosion, but the monkey was not a second. Hanuman smashed his mountain peak on Drumuksa's skull with his head crushed and all his limbs shattered. Drumuksa fell dead to the ground. This is the power of Hanuman. The other demons ran back towards the city, howling in fear. Ravana heard of Drumuksa's death and he hissed like an enraged serpent. He spoke at once to Vajra the Mastra, another the great Rakshasa companion. Sally forth, O hero, make short work of your enemy. Replying, so be it. But Vajra the Mastra circumambulated Ravana and left his palace. Vajra the Mastra was artistically adorned with gems and encrusted armlets and a shining diadem. He put on a golden coat of mails that blazed like fire. Taking off his bow, he mounted his brilliant chariot, which was dressed with hundreds of pennants and decorated with carving of refined gold. He came out of southern gate, followed by countless troops holding scimitars, strangely sharp iron clubs, polished marsh bows, javelin spears, razor-edged discus, swords, and double-headed asses. They raised a great uproar as they rushed towards the monkey's army. Again, an evil omens were seen. Dazzling meteors fell and hideous jackals betrayed tongues of fire. The demon's troops stumbled and fell on the level ground. Vajra the Mostra paid no heed to the grim portents foretelling his defeat. He thundered out his war cry, rally the Rakshasa to the fight. The monkeys met them with furious impetuosity. Demons and monkeys collided like mountains clashing together. Warriors fell with their heads and limbs served. Others dropped down, bring sliced in a half from head to toe. Some were crushed and some beaten to a pulp. The fighters found their feet sinking in a mirror of flesh and blood-soaked earth. From a distance, the battle produced a sound that resembled of a musical performance with the clash of weapons of its drums, the twang of bowstrings, its vinas, and the roar of warriors, its loud shining. Vajradhamastra created havoc on the battlefield. From his chariot, he released tens of thousands of steel arrows with razor sharp heads. He moved with the speed of the wind, seeming like death himself come from the destruction of all beings. The formidable Rakshasa employed mystical weapons of every kind and mowed down the monkey's troops like wheat in the field. Seeing the destruction, Angada became maddened. With his two serpent-like arms, so he clasped a great tree and whirled it around with binding speed. The monkey's prince danced with the tree on the battlefield and crossed innumerable Rakshasa. He moved through the demon troops like a lion through a flock of deer. The Rakshasa fell back in terror as Angada wailed. Chariot, elephants, horses, and Rakshasa fell on all sides, smashed by the infuriated Vanara Angada. The earth became decorated with golden poles fallen from chariots, as well as with bejeweled armlets, necklaces, and diadems of every sort. A stream of blood flooded on the battlefield, carrying the heads and limbs of Rakshasa slain by Angada, who could not be checked. Vajradhamastra saw his troops being routed and roaring in fury. He rushed towards Angada and shouted out a challenge. He released arrows that flew with unerring accuracy and pierced 8 of 9 monkeys at a time. In his wake, the demon left heaps of slain monkeys warriors who lay with their teeth clenched and eyes still staring in anger. Angada stood firm to receive the fast approaching Rakshasa. Vajradhamastra shoot 1,000 arrows at Angada and sent up a great shout. The monkey was pierced all over, but he was not shaken. He hurled his tree at the demon and it wheeled through the air with a sound like rushing gale. Without effort, Vajradhamastra tore the tree to to pieces with his two arrows even as it flew towards him. Angada leaped off a nearby hill and tore off a crag, carg. Spinning around several times, he threw it with tremendous force at Rakshasa. Vajradhamastra immediately jumped down from his chariot with his iron mace in his hand. The rock descended upon the Rakshasa chariot and shattered it into small pieces, crushing the drivers and horses. Even as the carg fell, Angada had taken up another and hurled it at the Rakshasa himself. It hit him full on the head and he fell to the earth, vomiting blood. He lay there unconscious for some minutes with his mace clasped to his bosom. Coming again to his senses, he got up and flew at Angada, hitting him in the chest with his mace. The monkeys remained steady, and the demon became striking him with the fists. Angada returned his blows, and the two fought off of a fierce hand to hand battle for some times, both splitting blood and breathing heavily. Angada uprooted another tree and he stood hidden by its flowers and fruits. The demon seized hold of a shield made of bull hide and a great shining sword decorated with golden bells. The two combats combatants circled one another, each looking for a opportunity to strike the others. They closed and separated again and again, raining down fierce blows. Both became exhausted and sank to their knees. Suddenly, Angada, who was thinking of Ram, sprang to his feet. He took up a pair, she looked to swords and swung it at Vajradhamastra neck. Lopping off his head, the Rakshasa dropped to the earth, spurting forth a jet of dark red blood. With their leader slain, the other Rakshasa held in fear, pursued by the monkeys, hanging their head in shame. They swiftly re-entered Lanka. The monkeys surrounded the overjoyed Angada and praised his wonderful feat in killing Vajra Damastra. This is how this is the story how Garuda saved Lord Sri Ram, Lord Sri Lakshman from the Nagastra, and how Angada killed the Ravan's commander, and how Sri Hanuman killed the demons. Hope you got some information regarding the Ramayana. If you uh, if you like this story, you can like, comment, share, and don't forget to subscribe. Jai Jagannath, Jai Sri Ram, Jai Sri Hanuman.